This is Submechanophobia. The ocean is terrifying. I mean, literally terrifying. If you're not terrified of it, what are you doing? Some of you watching might suffer from thalassophobia, which is a fear of the sea. If the following picture scares you or makes you at least feel a little bit uncomfortable, you probably have thalassophobia. But today I'm not gonna talk about thalassophobia, but a fear related to it, and in my opinion more interesting, called submechanophobia. Imagine this. It is your first time diving in the ocean and you are having a good time. But then all of a sudden, the water around you gets a little murky. Sunlight doesn't invade the water easily here, so your vision is a bit blurry. You decide to continue anyway. This is when your heart sinks. Before you appears a large sunken propeller. You might feel like this wasn't that much. If you have submechanophobia, you would feel pretty stressed or at least a little bit disturbed right now. But first of all, what does the word mean? Submechanophobia consists of Greek and Latin words and means the fear of underwater man-made objects. I have to admit that I don't personally suffer from submechanophobia, but some photos or videos I find do make me feel uneasy. Some also intrigue me. There is a pretty large subreddit made specifically for this fear. There are a lot of cool photos posted here, both equally terrifying and intriguing. I mean, just look at this one. Just imagine this being you. But why are these types of photos scary? It's probably because water is kinda creepy and unknown. For us, it is hard to imagine the size of something when it's underwater. That's what makes our depth perception of these kind of photos and videos pretty inconsistent, and this results us in having no idea how large certain submerged objects can be. Or as user Cabin in the Woods puts it, water tends to eliminate depth perception or alter it, so a large object underwater seen from above is hard to measure. It could be much larger than it appears. You also can't quite tell the distance, so for me, swimming above a shipwreck is terrifying because you can never quite tell how far your legs are above it. And I relate to this feeling. Whenever I'm swimming in the sea, I'm always glad that I can't see what's beneath me. Ignorance is bliss. Imagine swimming somewhere in the ocean and you see a big shipwreck beneath you. It will fill you with absolute fear. Submechanophobia is pretty much a sum of different phobias if you think about it. An important one is the fear of the unknown, which is pretty common in humans. Something that is unknown messes with our brains and tells us that something is wrong. People wearing a creepy mask is a great example of this. A fear of large animals comes into play too. Who knows what is hiding in that wreck? The ocean is filled with large and weird creatures, with some of them even undiscovered. Only 5% of the ocean has been mapped, so possibility for large creatures is definitely out there. Underwater objects seem to inherit some kind of weird growth, like algae and other aquatic plants. This growth seems a bit weird and unnatural to us, and almost looks a bit alien-like. The most rational of fears that comes with submechanophobia is the fear of drowning. Water is dangerous, and some of the photos and videos definitely seem to trigger a kind of dangerous feeling. It is almost as if our fight or flight response is kicking in with some of these pictures. One thing I'm obsessed with when it comes to submechanophobia are naval mines. These things are literal floating balls of death. I mean, just look at this video. Even though this one is probably not active anymore, that doesn't mean it's still scary. Just think about the fact that there are still naval minefields in the ocean that were placed there during World War II. Submarines are horrific too, for two separate reasons. First of all, there are way more submarine sinkings than you should be comfortable with. Just think about suffocating to death in a submarine. But then the worst thing about submarines, the sonar. Everyone is familiar with this horrible, creepy sound. These sounds are incredibly loud and you literally feel them in your body when you experience them. Just to put it into perspective, the loudest submarine sonar is around 235 decibels. The loudest rock bands stop around at 130 decibels. And remember, you can't just add decibels up, so it isn't just twice as loud as the loudest rock band. If you calculate this, you will find out that a submarine sonar is actually 100,000 times as loud as the loudest rock band. If you get too close to a sonar, it will rupture your lungs and pierce your brain. I don't know why, but one mysterious picture that really gets on my nerves is this underwater chair. Why the hell is it there in the first place? You know, who put it there? I don't know why, but this image just gets me. It feels so weird and ominous. Also, just imagine if this was your job. Another case of submechanophobia are underwater statues. Some of these are quite haunting. What if you were the diver who had to fix these statues? If you do have or just found out that you have submechanophobia, I might be able to pinpoint where you got it from in the first place. It's probably from these wave pool machines. When I was younger, there was always a big indoor pool we went to. This indoor pool had a huge wave pool in which large waves were created, and I gotta admit, that shit was fun. But things get a little disturbing when you get close to the source. As you get closer, you can see that this is a kind of weird underwater machine that produces these waves. Something you definitely don't want to get stuck in. Believe it or not, but these things are actually quite dangerous. The ocean might be terrifying, but it can be beautiful too. These shipwrecks might be scary and haunting, but most instances are fortunately pretty harmless. Most of these submechanophobia photos seem intriguing to me rather than scary. But it doesn't mean I don't see why some people do find them scary. And there are some that terrify me too, of course. We should appreciate the ocean for what it is and also keep exploring it, because who knows, maybe we'll find something that will absolutely baffle us. Only time will tell. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content. I will see you guys later.